if we think that our teen is experimenting with alcohol, is there a message, one critical life message, or a couple? How do we deal with that?
If they mess up in any area, we have to say we're there for you, and we will help you get through this. And hold them accountable. You're not the one doing the work. Holding them accountable gives them agency, gives them a sense of, Mom and Dad really believe I can make it through this. And you know, people will say, well, you know, I'm really ashamed of you. I'm not ashamed of my kids if they mess up. The shame needs to be in themselves. The guilt needs to be there for themselves. Would I be disappointed? Would I be saddened? Would I be frustrated and sometimes angry? Yes, but I care deeply about them. And that's that must to relieve their suffering and wishing them well. You know, we'll be there to help you get through this. There is nothing that we cannot get through. It's called tragic optimism. Viktor Frankl called it tragic optimism. When you've been brought to your knees in grief, can you get up in the morning, fix your kids' breakfast, and say, we're going to make it through this? So if we can do that in our rough times, when we experience it with our children, we have to be there for them and say, we're going to make it through this. This is not pretty. This is not good. We're going to make it through it.
One of the critical life messages is, I believe in you. How do we give that message with our body language and with our tone of voice to a teen who's starting to shut down? How do we convince them that we do believe in them?
Kids need what I call the TAO of parenting. It's an acronym. It's like an algebraic formula. It does not give you an answer. It gives you a path to an answer. Our children need, in the good times and the rough times, TAO, TAO. Time, affection, and a sense of optimism. Parenting is not an efficient profession. It takes time. And sometimes that's hanging time when they're in good moods and when they're in lousy moods. It's knowing when to back off a little bit and not drill them with questions, but to affirm them with those life-giving messages and saying to them, you know what, you're going to a party. You might run into these kinds of situations. I know you can handle it. Let's talk a bit about what might happen. Go through some scenarios, but say to them, I know you can handle it, but also say to them, you know what, if you ever find yourself in a mess, call. We will come and get you. We will make no judgments. Call. We'd rather you be safe. And we'll talk about it in the morning, but call. So giving them those messages, running them through scenarios that might happen to them, and they'll say, oh, Mom, oh, yeah, let's talk about it. And the best time to do that, by the way, is get in the car on the freeway. Neither of you can leap out. You don't have to look at one another, but you're driving down the freeway. Son, we need to talk about it. There's some parties coming up here, and this is what you typically might be seeing. I know you can make good decisions. I just want to run through some things that may happen. When the trust is lost, we have to say to them, you blew it. I trusted you. You blew it. Always put it back where it belongs on the child. You never say to them that there's no way you'll ever get that trust back. They need to know they can rebuild that. And I say, and I've met with a bit of controversy on this one, and because I say to them, you know what? I'm going to wake you up at 5 in the morning. I wake them up at 5 for that discussion. That next morning, it's not a pleasant, you know, they're waking up. And I say, and I don't say, did you drink alcohol at that party? If you know full well they did, it's like a kid with cookie on his face. Did you eat the cookie? Now you say you were drinking. I suspect you had more than a small amount by the look in your eyes, your behavior, and I'm concerned. I trusted you, you violated that trust, and I want that trust back. So let's look at a way that you can work through this. And you see, it's just we're going to make it. We can make it through this. And then I say to them, we're going to have a party at this house on Friday. What friends would you like to invite? And people say, no, he should be banned from everything. That's the brick wall. Jellyfish will saying, well, that's what kids do. I don't think I can do anything about it. Beckman says, this is serious, and we're going to deal with this. And says to them, you know what, we're going to have a party. Who would you like to invite? And I got to tell you, it's going to be supervised. And I'm going to show you, because you're underage, there will be no drinking. But I want to show you how you can have a good time at a party without the alcohol. Oh, Mom, nobody will come. Well, I'm not so sure about that. And our job is to run through with food once in a while, you know, not just staring at them, but also not jellyfishing and leaving the house when you've got a group of kids over. But to say to them, we can have fun. without abusing it. You're underage, and you can't have it. And I'm not going to be serving at this house with all your friends. It ain't going to happen. But you know what? You blew it. Okay, now we have the party, or they say, oh, I'm not having a party at this house. I say, okay, then you're going to spend a weekend with us. We'll have a good time. And we do have a good time. We look at things that they can do and get out with them and bond with them. Reconnect and say to the kid again, I know we can get through this, and I desperately want to trust you again. What are you going to do? And the next party they say, well, you know, you can check it out. You can check me when I come home. They didn't come up with that themselves, by the way. You have to kind of help them. But they will come up with those things if you say to them, I think we can get through this. I know we can get through this. But you don't go to, well, when we were young. They don't want to hear about your stories right now. They just need to know right now that you're believing right now, and you're tuned into them, not your past, not history. You can make it. You want to raise a responsible, resourceful, resilient, compassionate human being who will stand up for values and against injustices, who will make ethical decisions when the burden's heavy. The first thing you have to do is recognize you cannot teach kids to think and act ethically unless it's rooted in deep caring. And that deep caring first has to come from us. That must to relieve our children's suffering and wishing them well on a regular basis, those 6 critical life messages. And when that deep caring is present, we nurture it in them as well. And when that deep caring is there, they are not going to be wonderful to other human beings and mean to themselves, nor are they going to be wonderful to themselves and mean to other human beings. It doesn't connect that way. That deep, deep caring flows in that interconnection. So I think the more we care deeply, the more tuned in we are, the time we give our kids, the affection, smile, a hug, and humor every single day. Humor has to be an integral part of their lives. And then once again, that tragic optimism that when we have been brought to our knees in grief, when things have happened where it's gone horribly amiss, can we say, you know what, kid, we're going to make it through that.